When he went to high school as a freshman, he made the varsity team for the hockey team. So I think there was a little bit of pressure because he was playing with juniors and seniors, and he was a freshman kid. So I think, yeah, I think there was pressure, and I think he just, like a lot of them, they don't feel comfortable in their own skin. There's a void there that, they're just not, they don't feel like they're good enough. And I've heard that from many, many, many addicts that are in recovery today. There was a void. And, and I think my son was the same thing. I think he just didn't fit in. We got a call that he was smoking marijuana in the bathroom. So shortly after that, we put him in a boarding school all the way in New York. So he graduated that program, was out there for 14 months. I thought he was doing well, but he was already dealing drugs. His life just spiraled out of control. And then it was a journey from one rehab to the next, from one detox to the next, and until he ended up in jail and has been sober now for 13 months. When it spiraled out of control, it was the Oxycontin. Oxycontin was really what took him down to a point where he couldn't function anymore and he needed to steal. And then he didn't have the money, apparently. So we moved on to heroin. And I think he did heroin for at least over a year. And then he was just in and out of rehab, stealing and in and out of court. We couldn't have him living with us because he was just angry and violent, and at various times we had to call the police because he was very aggressive. And then he wanted money, he wanted, and he went through the whole family. So finally, we told him, we'll help you, but you have to help yourself. So that's when he started going. He'd go to detox again, then he'd go to another program. It was just the same thing over and over again. They ended up putting him in Ludlow jail for 2.5 months. He left the jail, and I went to pick him up. And before I went to pick him up, he told me, can you pick me up? And I said, I will, but you need to have an after plan because I can't give you the help that you need. And your addiction is an illness that doesn't go away. It needs maintenance each and every day. And so he goes, oh yeah, I have it all figured out. I have a plan. So both myself and my husband picked him up, but there was no plan. So he figured, well, I'm just going to stay at their house now. I went to jail, so they think I'm all done and my addiction is gone, and they're naive. But at that point, I was very educated already. I had been to a lot of meetings, and I'm totally in a different place. So manipulation wasn't one of the things he could do anymore. So I told him, that's fine. You can stay here with us until Friday, which was the end of that week. But after that, you have to find a place to go. So he did. Jail helped him. I don't think he wants to go back to jail, but I don't think it was jail alone. I think what helped him the most, and again, it's speaking from my heart, I think he found that both myself and my husband are going on with our lives. We've accepted his illness, and we're good with that. It's not a reflection on us anymore. Like, for years we carried this guilt, we carried this shame, we carried everything in between. Now we're both, we have our lives to live, and we're going to live our lives. And, we accept that he's a heroin addict, and he's going to be for the rest of his life, but he can be successful. He can be in recovery. There is recovery, but he's got to want it. So we kind of just stepped out of the way, and he saw that we're in a different place. When he called me, he was in jail for almost 3 months, and I refused to go see him. And today, looking back, it was the best decision I made, because I have so many horrible pictures in my mind of this whole journey. I didn't want to have this picture. I didn't want to have to wake up every day and remember how my son looked in jail. So I'm happy I didn't today, and I think that was one of the things too for him. This is not what my mom wants for me. And so I think that helped a little bit too. And it helped me. It helped me that I was able to carry it through, because it was hard. You can't fix it. You didn't cause it. You're not going to stop it. We can't control it, because we tried. I mean, we spent thousands of dollars, thousands. I mean, I could have given him a good college education, trying to control it and trying to stop it. So we got to the point where we can't anymore. So it's up to him. Stop hiding it. Put it out there. Because that's when I changed. When I was able to get it out of me and put it out there and not be ashamed because my son is a heroin addict. My son is a wonderful boy. He's a wonderful kid. He's nice looking kid. He's hard work. He works when he's on it. He works hard. He's got a lot of good qualities, and all of these kids do. So don't love your kids to death. Don't hide it. Don't feel ashamed. Put it out there, because once you put it out there, you feel this freedom. I think the message that I really want to get out there to parents is try not to enable your kids to death, because I see it in our town. I see people are still ashamed of it and they're hiding it. So their children are still using drugs under their roof, but yet they're too ashamed to just, get out there and get help. So get the help. My older sister lost her son. He committed suicide because of drugs. And, my sister was very much, I wouldn't say denial, but she was very naive. She didn't know that her son was dealing and doing drugs to the extreme that he was. So at that point, when my nephew died and my son was very active in his addiction, we decided, maybe we should just get the message out there. Let's just, do something and try to tell these parents that it happens to everyone. Addiction does not discriminate. That's why we decided to start the foundation, and now we have the Sober Home, Michael's house, which is, very successful. We have 2 guys that have been there from the beginning, and they're still sober and living there. Those 2 guys are house managers. So it's a lot of good things are happening, and that's why we started the foundation, and so we're very proud of what we've accomplished. And I think that's part of my healing too, was the foundation. That helped a lot.